So a very good morning. I was on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. So you're new to the channel, that's on subscribing to the channel already, and then you should subscribe or miss out on a lot on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. You're all the best in terms of football, tactical, pre-match, post-match, all the analysis. The best one here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Again, say open investor now open codes not consistently. Open so kukucha codes be now discard. Over here we have a crack team of 6. Right, count was 7. We constantly do the breakdown, the analysis for you. This Saturday and next Saturday, the best games to win in the German Bundesliga. No English Premier League games, not even the FA Cup. One league per and you will win good money. I'm telling you today, just one league and you pick a chunk of the games in your starting and you made 7 p.m. and you are going to go games near the amount and a walk in a cold form from Betway. So just go to the description of the video. For video, go description of the video. Pick up the codes. A5, 145. I'm very certain saying not less than 2 codes. A bit booming. For codes, pick them up, then go and stick them. Fold your arms. By 9 p.m. and you're ready. I'm very certain say you'll make some money. Codes in the go on. Again, say go when you're familiar with how YouTube works there. Go to Fiifi-Manfred on Facebook, Fiifi-Manfred on Twitter, Fiifi-Manfred. All of those places. Nobody corner me the codes name out to home and on power. But of course, just go to the description of this video. Description of the video. Corner codes pick them up, go and stick, and then just one league in the way Europa. All of the money that you need to win in a Betway. Our codes in the 5 separate codes. I have Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. So I want to subscribe to the channel. I'm sure subscribe, turn on notification 10 and choose all. Send a anytime their content. I'm ready. You'll be ready to have it here on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Now come on, come. And from Chelsea 4 had a big night and against team a friend in Manchester United. All of the Chelsea players now echo Instagram, echo Twitter, echo Facebook to congratulate themselves and tell themselves one more step. Pep number 2, the promised land, and we'll talk about that into detail, a lot more into detail, just a few minutes from now. But my some updates. So you're Barcelona fan because Barca for parade, was super cool. That Lamine Yamal, more Casado, more Marc Bernal, more Charlie. What a season it has been for Barcelona. Anyway, Jumo this season, winning the Spanish La Liga Copa del Rey. In Spanish terms, you see a Spanish treble. I mean, local treble with the Supercopa de España, the Copa del Rey, and then of course winning the Spanish La Liga. It has been a very good one for them. And Niamane the craft for Barca for they said they were able to do it in front of at rivals if you or the RCD Stadium in Conella, Barcelona. And it was a good one. And again, and then the conversation from Enra all through Twitter, Facebook, and then YouTube has been about the fact that who wins the Ballon d'Or? Is it Lamine Yamal? Like, is it Robert? Is it Abrante Ousmane Dembele? And as Abrante Rafinha? Or who comes in to win the Ballon d'Or? And I've said it several times that we have a few more times to go. Aka competition in Barca, which is the Club World Cup. Don't rule it away. There is also going to be the Spanish team now before the Nations League final. Spain before Nations League final, I think against France. It can also be a deciding factor. As it stands now, and I said it earlier, and now on the show on Insure, I said the best player we are seeing there is Branty friend Lamine Yamal. I don't know the best player we are seeing, but the Ballon d'Or, more player just because of one moment in the season. And the performances across the season. I'm not saying that Lamine Yamal has not been good across the season. I think Sabrante Rafinha has been more consistent for Barcelona. I understand that Lamine Yamal at his age, and you're mind-boggling, and you give him credit for that. But Rafinha has been super across the season as it goes on. Barca will not play in the Club World Cup Rafinha will not have any proper nations competition to play. Lamine Yamal will be the final of the Nations League. Say Owinia, it's probably will tell things in his favor. But Ousmane Dembele, once Paris Saint-Germain will be winning the French League, I think on Wednesday or Tuesday or so, almost the Coupe de France final against, I think one of those teams, I think Reims, about the Coupe de France final after the Champions League. So much Coupe de France, no much Champions League, they would have won a treble. You cannot deny Ousmane Dembele the Ballon d'Or if he wins that treble. Yes, Barca have done some super things. I bet a lot of people have not paid keen attention to Ousmane Dembele in the French League. And so if he wins that, you cannot deny him the Ballon d'Or. And the French people will push for it, trust me. And we understand, say, Barca for the presented two candidates, Rafinha and he has my brand here friend Lamine Yamal. It may split the vote. Once it splits the vote, Banshee and Ousmane Dembele from say the Ballon d'Or as the next French player. It means Ousmane Dembele will probably win the Ballon d'Or ahead of Abrante Friend Kylian Mbappe, the French player, the latest French player after Abrante Friend Karim Mustafa Benzema. It's probably going to be a good one for Ousmane Dembele and the Spanish football, the French Football Federation, if he's able to win the Ballon d'Or, which is going to be a very, very positive one for him. And then Barcelona team now, yes, over 670,000 people were in attendance for Barcelona's bus parade at Barcelona and Cromo Challenge. They deserve all of the good things that is coming their way. And now I was talking about the job of Juan Laporta, in galvanizing the Barcelona team financially, all the financial engineering schemes that they put together, making sure that the Spotify company was coming to life last season. The fact that the job of Mathieu Alemany, money are there, how they cry for more, what they were able to do to make Barca a viable financial entity. It has been a very, very important task. And of course, a journey that began almost like 2 years ago where a lot of people, Xavi Hernandez, money are there. Today, it's bearing fruit for Team FC Barcelona. I think Juan Laporta deserves a lot of credit over the Osha pictures now. Lamine Yamal, Gavi, Pau Kubasi, Bernal, Inigo Martinez was there. Pedri, Nene Boys, Mohobi Pedri. Almost everybody are there. Our team, Ronaldo Araujo, Robert Lewandowski, now in the enjoyment, don't miss out about Lewandowski said, what's up with him? I think what we have done this season is incredible. The way we have played, a lot of people fall in love with our style of play, and I think I do agree. One of the best things for Barcelona, any Hansi Flick team has been how they have played on and off the ball. McCann several times said Hansi Flick married the German direct heavy metal style of playing football with the Spanish tiki-taka. Now, but this is what I'm saying. Germany, for the ball, they want to press and counter press quickly and win the ball back. But once they win the ball back, they want to transit. Spain, if one style of plays to build and be patient, find the openings and stuff like that. Slow but sure, gets the job done. So Hansi Flick came in, married the Barcelona tiki-taka style of play, but then made it more direct into actual Barca team. Now, once they win the ball back with them press, them counter press, when they go into the channel, like they don't waste too much time. But we need more on press, counter press into the channel, press, counter press, no more cut channel. Finding Rafinha, finding Lewandowski, finding Abrante, finding Lamine Yamal in those spaces to make sure they get the job done and then break down teams. And that is why Abrante, your friend Rafinha, has those insane numbers now this season, because the numbers of Abrante, friend Rafinha, are literally insane over there. And Barca have played like this all season, and they have been very, very successful. And then Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, who just shares it. Obia was available for Barcelona for Bas Parade, and it was a very, very good one. Amateur domestic trebles. Monstre Estre El Monstre Legal. Talking about the domestic treble. Barca for one team winning this season. It's been a very, very good one for Team friend FC Barcelona. And Alejandro Balde was celebrating and enjoying, having a very, very good time over there for himself. Has been a very good season. Villarreal coach Marcelino confirms that his side will give Barca guard of honor over the weekend. Some Kokobon game, remember Barca for the guard of honor. I think Barca deserves it. They deserve it. Juan Laporta to continue as club president with another term. I think a lot of people on your Barca for would agree. So Juan Laporta should go on and then continue with his term. Our team, my friend FC Barcelona, because he has done some very, very good job. Of course, on the part of Barca for arch rivals, a team, your friend FC Real Madrid, the big news, from Abrantia, your friend Dean Hodgson, the cup. I mean, really, really exciting news for Xabi Alonso and in Madrid for and how they want to play. Finally, Madrid for have gotten the job done in finalizing the deal for Abrantia, your friend Dean Hodgson, and then in front of AS Dario, a new defense at the Club World Cup. Nueva Defensa para el Mundial. That is what is in front of the Club World Cup. Said Madrid for new defense at the Club World Cup because they have finalized the deal for Abrantia Dean Hodgson. He comes in with a lot of quality, on the ball ability, technical ability. So you can say center back being in ball, no team break lines, not a ball deep line passes. I mean, to control game from deep, and that's what it means. And I'm not really saying Xabi Alonso, the framework of play is with 3 center backs. I'm not saying it's all about 3 back. I'm saying I don't think that he will play the same way as he played at Leverkusen. But the framework needs to have 3 center backs. So 3 center backs in build up, 3 center backs. The 3 center backs in build up can be 4 when they are defending, or can be 5 depending on whether it's about with wing backs or full backs. And what I mean is that Xabi Alonso always want a CCB, the original Fiifi-Manfred, where BB lines from deep, and also want the outside center backs that will help him build up. And Abrantia, friend Dean Hodgson, they are very, very important in that regard. Of course, Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to add to the pack with team, my friend FC Real Madrid. In addition, Abrantia, friend Carreras, very, very important player, and we'll see how things are going to go on there for the players, and how things are going with the kind of quality and how things are going to go on from there. Now, what we are hearing is that Alvaro Carreras is joining Madrid. The club is now finalizing the signing. Madrid for the Abrantia for Alvaro Carreras. Breaking, Real Madrid will pay Liverpool $2 million for Trent Alexander-Arnold. He will join before the Club World Cup. Betway so Abrantia, your friend Trent Alexander-Arnold Club World Cup the big one, and he said Dean Hodgson has completed and passed his medicals London to join team, my friend Real Madrid. We're really medicals now, or joining with Abrantia friend Xabi Alonso and Abrantia friend Trent Alexander-Arnold and we'll see how things are going to go on from there. Here we go now. If you Abrantia friend Fabrizio Romano and it's a very, very good one for team, my friend FC Real Madrid. Of course, El Presidente and Juma to make sure that Madrid will have a very good team now compete with team, my friend Barcelona next season. Dean Hodgson a chance to earn more money in the Premier League, but his dream is to play for Real Madrid. Something that is a very, very good one. We'll see how things will pan out from there. Then to the big one, Enrana Joe. Chelsea made a huge step in the possibility to go and play in the Champions League. Now, after the game, Enzo Maresca, that is where my interest lies. But before I go into that, one of the things that happened when Chelsea won last set of games at Bayern is that people kept on asking questions, said, now Maresca, you could beat me at the Chelsea team. I kept on saying for a very long time, said, Maresca won in mistakes. A lot of the times he makes mistakes, and he's a young coach. But if you want to see that a coach is good, you look at the tenets of a good coach. The communication skill and the clarity of thoughts are very important. And I've seen several times when Maresca makes decisions that work. Chelsea scored in a slightly imbalance. I remember in the last 1 week, my home that will come and say, oh, Chelsea lost against Newcastle because of Rhys James at right back. That is not a reason until Chelsea and Lucy against team, my friend in Newcastle. Rhys James with Obo Caicedo at right back. Moise Caicedo at right back. Every time Chelsea start of play when Romeo Lavia fits. It's simple. And it is because of balance. Se Obo Moise Caicedo as a single sixer. It means that every time in build up, say when you Levi as a CCB and as Enzo Fernandez eben. But some Enzo Fernandez Queen and Jumana Sisi Maresca Peso, which is box crashing area. You need Romeo Lavia to be the single six. Send a as a Chelsea kita ball now, because say Chelsea kita ball now, either you have a back three to build up, or you are using your fullback to push high and wide. But Chelsea don't need that because our full winger will keep you waiting on her. So then Obe inverting Moise Caicedo rather start. So it's just the nominal formation of the back four, but invert Moise Caicedo next to Romeo Lavia. Now on protecting the Kakane, they can play forward. It's about balance because Caicedo is good without the ball. I mean, the ball can on your bad without on the ball as well. But and yet the stock in trade of Romeo Lavia is tempo control and intensity. Like Sandy Mano, or you're literally the best at it. Press resistance, stuff like that. It wasn't the reason why Chelsea lost the game against Newcastle. In fact, it gave Chelsea a lot of balance in the game against Newcastle. And that is something that Chelsea Enzo Maresca has been trying to do. So people probably do not understand the difference between roles and positions on the field of play. But it is important to understand, say, these things are done. Imagine Satan and a Pep Ebo, what's the name? John Stones. No, John Stones, Fiifi, and I say Aki Aban Fiifi. Don't forget that season, Enzo Maresca was at Manchester City. So I treble winning City. No, Enzo Maresca, Satan at the free. The assistant to Josep Guardiola was Enzo Maresca. Maresca was the assistant to Josep Guardiola. And Utie Pep Guardiola in one of those interviews, that idea literally came from a branch friend Enzo Maresca. So that's what he wants. Sometimes he wants more compactness, more ability on the ball over there. And again, Uka said regimes again against Manchester United was important. But mind you, regimes did not keep the weight for Chelsea. Regimes are up and down the touchline. Regimes got forward but in the half space. Why? Because Chelsea were playing against a Manchester United team. They were not going to hold on to the ball. United ball, they are not a ball longer caught tossing Rasmus Hojlund. Their plan was to play tossing Adarabiayo or watching Rasmus Hojlund. He will win the duels of our branch friend Rasmus Hojlund, then play forward. So above forward, Caicedo is not expected to be on the ball for long. Quickly, you find Enzo Fernandez, find a branch friend Cole Palmer, then they can do the job from there. So Enzo Maresca for me is a very important manager, and or percent the wingers then they keep it with them. Chelsea would have to do more in the summer, especially so many Champions League. I think that Chelsea beats Menya Victor Osimhen or beats Menya, all of them top targets now. They need Champions League. One, a very important as a bargaining chip, because I know only player be a could income myself person all the things you can use to argue your point out, and they say, oh, Champions League and Ujiri say Oba no or like or about how old the Champions League, you can win things from there. Two, the Champions League affords you the financial wherewithal. Say ubetinya games no flex or muscle, because say the reason why a better friend Victor Osimhen say Chelsea no in party last month the wages of Victor Osimhen somewhere around 370,000, a little bit too much for the English Premier League. But when you have when you Osimhen argument, I'll say without after tax, it's carrying about 250. Why don't you give me the money now after tax and Emma for Chelsea for CEO? You got Champions League and then we'll be able to pay Champions League premium money to your players. See, you need Champions League, you need to SS can. So once Champions League comes in, Chelsea can now say, okay, fine, your Champions League, your Club World Cup, your G Conference League, you have enough money, you bet me to SS can, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, no businessman will give you any money without any return on investment. I mean, this area is not worked in a corporate setting before. Everything, there is a need for the return on investment. Will be any investment. You want value for money. So imagine a business person. So it's important. It's important that Chelsea gets that job done. And in the year 2025, I just chanced of this record. So Chelsea are conceded just 7 goals in the last 11 games over the year 2025 now. And I think that's one thing that's really helped Chelsea in 2025 is the fact that they've been able to shut a shop. Against Everton, against Fulham, share 1 goal against Tottenham Hotspur, share 1 goal, we keep it clean sheet, one man very compact. And I think that Trevor Chalobah has been very important. And then time of starting game, I didn't understand, but as the game went on, I saw that it was about the aerial duels that Enzo Maresca wanted Tosin Adebayo to win for him. So Chelsea defensively have been good. When the Opta supercomputer culminating and Sunday by so much that can Chelsea with me when they see Data is very important, and I'm the first person to talk about data in football. I'm the first person to discuss data in football. I'm the first person to make sure that I use data in any form of analysis in the things that I do. But it's also important to understand who did data on command. Some of the things that data doesn't take into account are things like emotions, things like game states, and this animal. Data doesn't really take into account. And I think the Chelsea fans have been able to channel their emotion in that Fulham game, and then the momentum that they built from there to go into subsequent games where and then they are getting very, very close in terms of winning on matches now or and then getting the job done against my friend Manchester United. All of a sudden, Chelsea for got into the final week of the season and then opted for and say almost a song on Sano and then also super computer from Premier League. Almost say Arsenal for 99.8% of qualifying, Newcastle were 92.6%. How many Arsenal member on Sunday? Chelsea was 60%. I'll come on last game against Nottingham Forest. Aston Villa 49.1%, and then Manchester City 87.3%. Remember against Bournemouth and then Fulham. I think that these two games can be a little bit tricky. Then of course Nottingham Forest against Tima, your friend West Ham United and we and Chelsea home. I mean, if there is something that can go on in there. If there's something that can go on there, there's a possibility West Ham for one bit Chelsea more. And Chelsea for next many BBL free on to be something that will be super cool. Moise Caicedo in the game against Manchester United, most dribbles completed, most tackles won, most duels won, most fouls won. I mean, I don't know how anybody sees the numbers of Moise Caicedo and tells me that Ryan Gravenberch is the best player per data on this player. I mean, if you want to do the argument based on the fact that Ryan Gravenberch contribution of led Liverpool to winning the league and that he has to be rewarded. Granted, I agree with the Kosisa argument. At the end of the day, I think it comes down to what you have to show in life. Because you can't just talk. It's not just about talking. About your own sema or the church say, Jesus Crampo, you remember the parable of one of those parables in the Bible where Jesus gave somebody seed, gave somebody that, the parable of the vineyard or so. And Okobai also, what do you have to show? What do you mean? Back with the I mean, that's not, God has given us sense to produce stuff. And that's the most important thing. And that's what Enzo, Moise Caicedo, maybe that's why he has lost out to winning one of the best players of the season in terms of the midfield than Abrantia, your friend Brian Gravenberch. But then apart from that, we'll give a lot of credit. To Chelsea for to the kind of football that they've played, to how they've played, how they've dictated the pace of the game. Muti, Enzo Maresca after the game now say Chelsea for have done exactly what they had to do. So already pressure and it is just the pressure. Also, we have said many times that the talent alone is not enough. You also have to add effort. The effort tonight was unbelievable from all of the players, and we are happy. And after the game, Todd Bally more back that the Ballon had players now. Together with the sporting directors on Chelsea for and said everything will be fine. Roy King was even the Chelsea manager is patronizing them by saying they played well, they pressed us, they were dangerous, they beat them 1-0, and United had one shot on target. What are they doing? Is patting them on the hand of on the head, going off. You go back up to Manchester United. That's what Manchester United used to do to teams years ago. I think Man United fans will be going back to Manchester United thinking that's probably what we thought would happen. They didn't win. I don't think the manager did, and most importantly, I don't think the players believed they could come and win tonight. Even the Chelsea manager is patronizing them. If you go on, Enzo Maresca say after the game, on any backroom staff, they were excited. And Enzo Maresca say, Enzo, for me, the club and the fans, it's an important win. The way we celebrated at the end of the game is because we had 2 games to go, and it's important to win the game. We've won one. Said, Matlo after the game, And I'm saying we keep being reminded this is not the Chelsea of the past, but Kukurea has a bit of the old Chelsea about him. I would make him captain, report on the baby. Kukurea's captain. I think they're a little bit erratic, kakra. They didn't come on about how Chelsea went on. And Enzo Maresca, after the game, the post-match press conference was very, very interesting over there. Enzo Maresca full post-match press conference. Enzo Maresca on the win. Very important. At this stage, it's important to win games. We also pay attention to how we win games. We didn't expect them to be so aggressive man-to-man. It surprised us. I think for the very first and second half, we created enough chances to win the game. Maresca on winning goal. Very nice. Very nice assist from the fullback. Maresca on Destiny's Chelsea's hands. It's very important. The reason I was so happy at the end is because United beat City away at home, drew with Liverpool and then Arsenal. They know how to play against big teams. They beat a team that is difficult to beat. Enzo Maresca and George's performance in number 9 versus Forest Brave. There was a threat in behind. A player from the academy and overall, I think also he had a penalty moment. He worked quite well. Absolutely, he could do well against Forest 100%. I'm saying about the sporting directors. Also, we used to have the moments like that in the changing room. When we win games at home, they are all in the changing room. But the plan was to see the fans. Maresca and Kukurea, so they turn around at Chelsea. Kuku has a background with the Barcelona style of play, and that's why we get a job done. See, I mean, Chelsea for now, Jumano, and wait to see how things will go. And then we'll bring you some more analysis later, we'll ensure, but still, hope a cool today. Go to the description of the video, go and pick it up, and we'll see how things turn out at Chelsea.